the triathletes finished the race with a grueling marathon run. In all, some 140 kilometers of the toughest journey you can imagine. And it's very clearly on the minds of the athletes as they prepare for the start of the 10th Ironman Canarias. Just a few minutes from the start, and the athletes start to gather on the beach at Porto de Carmen, where the race will start and finish. Over 800 athletes this year, the biggest field yet in this 10th anniversary race. Back in 1995, the winner was the German Thomas Hellriegel, who went on to win the World Championships in Hawaii. Although he wasn't racing this year, he was on the island getting in some important early season training. And we asked him what he remembered about 1995.
This is a very tough Ironman here on Lanzarote. It's a lot of wind and a lot of mountains, and I think it's maybe the toughest Ironman in the world. So it was my first serious Ironman race and I won it. So then I knew I can race everywhere and have good results. For me it was very important here, this first race.
Well, this is Christoph Mauck, one of several potential winners in the men's race, looking for his first Ironman victory.
I think Christoph Mauck and Stefan Holzner are the strongest athletes in this field because they are very strong bikers, which is very important here. At the moment we have strong winds and it's not too hot, which is good for Stefan. And so I think these two, they will go away on the bike, and I think one of them will win.
Well, this is Holzner. He finished second last year on his 37th birthday. Now a year older, can he go one better this time round? Well, we will see later in the show. Well, the start of the race, as I mentioned, 800 athletes. Opening 3.8 kilometer swim, 2.4 miles. It's the same course, but they've changed it slightly in that they're going around the other way. The problem in previous years was that the first turn took place after about 125 meters, and now it's about 500 meters. Just got a glimpse of the grey cap of the ex-national football player, Daryl Haley, here on his third time. Hasn't completed the course yet. For the women, Lena Volquist is also third time here. She's won twice and she's looking for her third victory. Defending champion for the men is Dirk van Gossem of Belgium. Look out for him, he's in the turquoise cap. Holzner, as we saw, is in lime green. Loudenbacher, who won the race back in 1998, is in metal green. And Frank Heldorn of Holland, who's won this race twice, is in violet. Christoph Mauck, another one of those favourites, is in red. But look at this. This is the chaos at the first buoy. It really is a tumble dryer. For the women, Lena Volquist, the defending champion, she's in pink. Elizabeth Christensen of Denmark is in royal blue. And Laurie Lynn Leach, who led this race for quite some time last year, is in apple green. Look out for Heike Funk of Germany. And also Laura Bieger of Germany in purple. And if you think it's tough from above, it's just as tough from below. This is the early leaders. It's Michael van der Hoeven of Holland and Francesco Pontero Roden of Spain. This is the Spanish Championships this year, the long course championships. First time they've been here. They've been in Mallorca a couple of times, and this is a NAFID supporter. Behind, Alexander Merzlov of Russia. Just to the far of the picture is with van der Hoeven. And just behind them, the likes of Petra Thomas of the Czech Republic, Carsten Hahn of Germany, Switzerland, Philipp Aschleitner is there. And 31 just on the far of the picture was Jan Strangmüller of Germany. But we have an early casualty of the swim. Swallowed too much water, I think, on that first turn, and it's an early bath. Well, he's already in a bath, hasn't he, for that gentleman. Well, that's Frank Heldorn, the violet cap, won this race twice before. Also in that chase pack is the lead woman right on the back here. She is 141, Iris Weiss of Switzerland. We're looking for Lena Volquist to be near the front with Laura Lynn Leach, but certainly Iris Weiss is going for broke at the moment. Well, this is Ann Wright of America, 56 years young, and she's also had to call it a day early on in the swim. Long way to come for such a short swim. So this is the chase pack, and in there is Christoph Mauk. Just on the back was the lead woman, but you can see two athletes are getting away, and one of them is the Russian from St. Petersburg, Alexander Metzlov. He was from the St. Petersburg Swim Club a few years ago, and when he came on the scene back in the early 90s in Trier, I remember in the European Middle Course Championships, he led by something like 2 minutes. Right behind him, Francisco Pontero Rodan of Spain. I don't know if that's the brother of Veronica Rodan, who won this course for the Spanish last year. This is Michael van der Hoeven of Holland. He's down as an age grouper and certainly doing well at the moment. I said he gets pretty tough behind. Just take a look at this. Getting a bit of a toe, isn't he? Really are great pictures. Shows the strokes very clearly. If you're a poor swimmer, just take a look at the arm bend here, the pull as they reach through. Well, the sun's rising over Porto de Carmen, and it's getting pretty warm at the front of the field as Metzlov and Pontero Rodan head towards the finish. This is the lead woman mixing it with Stefan Liebertrau. He wears number 10 there, and look out for him on the bike ride, one of the better bikes in the sport of triathlon. But Weiss, she's going well at the moment. Behind her, the likes of Christensen of Denmark and Heikki Funk. And at the moment, the defending champion Lena Wahlquist with Laura Lynn Leach of Canada are a little bit off the pace. That's Ernest Aguirre-Senior of Spain, the second Spaniard, and Thomas Petra of the Czech Republic. Is held on, and just up front in the red there you can see Christoph Mauk. So halfway through, 1.2 miles out of the way, that's at 1.9 kilometers, and they're round in about 21-22 minutes. This is a very fast swim by Metzlov. The course record was set by Nick Croft of Australia back in 1994. He went 42.24, but several people, including myself, declared that the swim was a considerable distance short because Paula Newby-Fraser at that time of Zimbabwe set the fastest swim for the women. She was out in 46.50, and I think even for Paula Newby-Fraser, who's won, what, 21, 22 Ironman races in her time, that's about 5 minutes quicker than she normally swims. This is the third athlete, Van der Hoeven, Michael van der Hoeven of Holland, going well at the moment. He's starting to lose touch just a little bit with Metzlov. This is the chase pack with the lights of Tara Hippila of Finland. Fernando Marian de Diego is also as is Thomas Soderhold, and right at the back here, the lead woman, Iris Weiss. So this is a really good swim. This is Stefan Liebertrau right on the back. Certainly Weiss is going exceptionally well at the moment, and she doesn't have a great pedigree over the Ironman distance, but certainly as a swimmer, you can't fault her. Here she comes, getting a bit of a toe in with these wetsuits on. Water temperature is around about 20-21 degrees, so they are wearing wetsuits, although not all of the 800 athletes have got them on. 2 or 3 have bared the elements here, and been in the water for over an hour for some of them. That's going to take its toll. Right on the front here, that's the second woman, Royal Blue Cap of Lisbeth Christensen of Denmark. She did her first Ironman last year in Almere and won that one in 9 hours 8 minutes, and I think that was the second quickest time of any woman last year. She went on to Embrun, didn't enjoy that one too much, but she's decided to come here and test the hills of Lanzarote. Right behind her in the wine red colour was Heikki Funk of Germany, so that's 1, 2, 3 in the women's division. There's Funk in the dark blue. She's certainly one of the favourites here, but this is the masses starting to end lap 1. For the best, it's going to be around about 45 minutes, and the slowest, well, they've got to get in 2 hours 20 minutes. And certainly Alexander Metzlov here hasn't got too worries about that time. He's going to be round in, I would think, around about 44-45 minutes the way he's going. Certainly these very windy and choppy conditions aren't slowing down these athletes at all. We all thought with a headwind on one of the long legs that it would slow the time, but if anything, it's giving them more resolve, and the times are going to be quicker. It's Francesco Pontero Rodan of Spain, the leading Spaniard. As I mentioned, big honours here for the Spaniards because they are going for the national title. And with one of the young Spaniards winning the first ever World Cup race just a few weeks ago in Japan. Certainly triathlete is at the fore with the journalists and the media in Spain. That's what it looks like from above, and that's what it looks like from below. is our lead woman, Iris Weiss of Switzerland, still up there. Back in 1992, the first time this race was held, it was Janine Daly who won for the women, and Ben van Zels of Holland who won for the men. Well, we're at the back of the field, and Juan Cortez Fuentes of Spain, a 56-year-old, has got some company. And it's not the tail enders, it's the leader. Wow, look at this, he's just about going backwards. Unbelievable stuff by the leaders, as Fuentes is struggling just a little bit. Well, you can look up, and just in front of him we'll find the Frenchman, Gabriel Emmanuel. This guy's 66 years young, and he's not a bad breaststroker, is he? He's going pretty quick, but nothing like the speed of Metzloff and Pontero Roden, who go by him like he's standing still. It is pretty demoralizing for these tail enders. Bear in mind that these leaders are just coming up towards the end of the swim, and they've got to go round again, and that is pretty demoralizing for them. I certainly like some of the speed of these two. That is setting a fair old pace here as he comes up towards the end of the swim. And the swim split, well, he's going to be under 45 minutes. 44.55 they've given him, and that is very quick. Just a couple of seconds later for Francisco Pontero Roden, who seems to have a little more urgency as they go up through. This is Metzloff getting that wetsuit off, and now it's a quick change and the start of the 180-kilometer bike ride. Great crowds out here, even at this 7 o'clock in the morning start. They really do love their triathlon here. They've taken it to heart, just like in Roth in Germany. Here's the Iris Weiss coming out of Switzerland. She's out in 48.49 with that big chase group of men, including Christoph Mauk and Frank Halden. But Metzloff, he's on the bike.
Next Saturday, only Sky Sports brings you 3 epic World Cup qualifiers. The day of reckoning. On Sky Sports 1, all the tension in the Republic of Ireland's vital encounter with the Dutch. Or on Sky Sports 3, follow the fate of the Scots in an all-or-nothing push against Croatia. Then on Sky Sports 1 and Sky Sports Extra, one of the world's biggest games. All fired up in the return leg against Germany. It's do or die for England. The heat is on in a massive day of international football. Next Saturday, World Cup qualifiers, the Republic of Ireland, Scotland and England. Sky Sports and Sky Sports Extra.
Hold that tiger, hold that tiger, hold that tiger. Where's that tiger? Here's that tiger. Where's that tiger? Here's that tiger.
The Vauxhall Astra SRI with sports suspension handles life beautifully.
You're looking for a loan. You own your own home, but you don't have much equity. What's the solution? A secured personal loan from First Plus. So, how does this work? Conventional secured loans only allow you to borrow against the current value of your home, less your mortgage. This is your equity. First Plus, however, can lend you the value of your equity plus up to 25% of the total value of your home. So, whether you want to consolidate all your outstanding credit into one low monthly repayment, or you need a lump sum to bring your dreams to life, call First Plus now. If you're a homeowner, you can apply for a First Plus secured personal loan right now. The call is free and you'll get a quick decision. Call First Plus now on 0800 052 6000.
Mr. Cole, I haven't seen him for days.
Don't worry, madam, we'll deal with it. Mr. Core, are you in there? Hello, Mr. Core? Nothing. No.
Go on then. Hey? Go on.
Mad about movies? Then call BT on 0800 001 800 for a great deal on Sky Digital and ITV Digital.
Hello?
Running your car's expensive, but with 10% off by buying online, your insurance doesn't have to be. Be direct. Log on to norwichuniondirect.com now.
From just $11,595 and with 0% finance over 3 years, the Vauxhall Astra SXI handles life beautifully.
Boys behaving badly.
Perry on the pole.
This is really easy, Perry.
Got Jay on the pole with a rep.
A bit of, chicky, I'm sure.
It's just pulling. That's all we're here for.
Reps behaving even worse.
This morning, I woke up and found a little love note in my wallet from Claire.
He's really, really gorgeous and he's lovely.
She seems too full on, too keen.
Definitely not going to give up.
I have smogged here, and I've already told the camera that many times. Because we work closer together, nothing can happen of it.
Reps in Ibiza, tonight at 10, Sky 1.
Welcome back to the Ironman Canarias in Lanzarote in the Canary Islands, and the defending women's champion Lena Wahlqvist of Sweden is just leaving. She's in 5th position. She's something like just under 2 minutes behind Iris Weiss, who was first out of the water. There we are. That's clarification of the women's leaders after the swim. Weiss, Funk, Kaiki Funk of Germany in 2nd position, but they're pretty tightly packed behind. And well, this is disaster for the lead woman. Iris Weiss, unfortunately, within the first 5 kilometers or so, has got to punch it, the dreaded flat tire. And now she's got to change it. No outside assistance here, although there are some support vehicles going around if they can't repair the damage. So that leaves the Canadian Laurie Lynn Leach to take the lead. She was out within a couple of seconds of Heikki Funk and Elizabeth Christensen of Denmark. Behind is Lena Wahlqvist. She's now in 2nd position. And we asked her earlier on about her Ironman career.
This is my 3rd, and it's my 6th Ironman, and 99 was my first ever, and that was a hard one. And I think I have been learning me a lot since that time. So I hope it's going to be a better race this time.
Well, she's won the last 2 years, and we asked her what she's done differently this time round.
This year I have done an Ironman before. The other 2 years has been the first Ironman, and this year I was in New Zealand in March, and I think that's good because I know how I am this year. I think, so I think I have been training a little bit harder this year compared to the other. I start earlier in the season.
Well, she had a tremendous race in New Zealand. She was leading by something like 11 to 12 minutes off the bike from Lisa Bentley of Canada, and another Canadian here is leading, Laurie Lynn Leach, and Lisa Bentley ran her down very quickly, and I think if Wahlqvist can get her act together on the run, she could make it 3 in a row here. Well, those are the swim times for the men. Mertzlaff, Roden, van der Hoeven, Hippola of Finland, and Diego from Spain. 2 Spaniards in the top 5, but here we are, we're out on the road, and this is Jan Strangmuller of the Czech Republic. He was 3 minutes 18 down from Mertzlaff, who now has been relegated to 2nd place as they head out through the lava fields that are so predominant on this bike course here in Lanzarote. Well, Strangmuller trying to make amends of the race he had in South Africa, the Ironman there just a month or so ago, when unfortunately he had a broken wheel, his spoke broke, and he didn't finish the race, so he's still prepared for the Ironman. Let's see how he does here in the Lanzarote. But look at this. This is Christoph Mauck of Switzerland flying past Mertzlaff. Now goes into 2nd place, so the Russian is now down in 3rd spot. Christoph Mauck, he swam 48.12. He was 3 minutes 17 seconds behind Mertzlaff. He's been on the island a while, and we asked him about the training he's been doing here. It's always been a popular destination for training during the winter months, and Mauck is one of them.
Well, my training was quite the usual thing, but I've come to Lanzarote 4 weeks ago, so I've trained here quite a lot of kilometers on the bike, and I know the course pretty well, so I hope this is enough.
Well, just a couple of weeks before the Ironman on the island, he raced in the Volcano Triathlon, and he was victorious.
Well, that was 2 weeks ago, and was preparation for me for the Ironman. I had a good swim and a good bike. I was in the lead after the bike, and I could hold on the run. So I was pleased, and I hope my shape is well.
Tell us who you beat in that race.
Well, 2nd was Richard Jones from Great Britain, but more important is 3rd place, which was Thomas Hellriegel. So it's always fun to race him, not only in Ironman, but in short distance races as well. And of course, it's a pleasure to beat him.
Well, I don't think Mauk's done that too much. He's raced him a lot over both distances, and I think Hellregel has certainly come out on top on all occasions. So this is Mauk, the 30-year-old Swiss. Just up in front is the Czech Republican, should I say, Jan Strangmuller, who really is pushing the pace along, as is Laurie Lynn Leach. She's extending a lead slightly over the women's field, but Lena Wahlqvist, the past master at this race, was certainly becoming strong towards the end. And coming strong this time is the ex-pro NFL player, Darrell Haley. Fastest swim he's done here, but he would love to be as good as a triathlete as he was a footballer.
If I can be half as good as I was as a professional football player in triathlon, that would be absolutely phenomenal. Playing professional football was really a team sport. You know, we had a lot of guys around you had to depend on. Whereas in the sport of triathlon, especially in Ironman, especially here in Lanzarote, it's totally you. And you have to dig deep enough to continue to try and succeed, you know, at conquering this course. So, you know, for me, being a competitor and not a quitter, you know, I would do this race until I complete it fully within the time frame, and that's going to happen this year.
Well, we will see him carrying 300 pounds. He's lost a bit. It's not easy around this Lanzarote course.
Well, what it feels like legging 300 pounds up the hills here is it's a bad feeling sometimes, man. It really is a bad feeling, but nevertheless, it's something that I think this year is going to be much more easier because, like I say, I've trained a lot harder and then I have lost some weight. So, but as far as trying to lug 300 pounds up the hills, it's like someone holding a parachute behind you, and the harder you push, the slower you go. So this year, I think I'm going to be much more efficient once again and climbing the hills a lot better.
Well, he might be climbing them better, but the problem is the wind. The wind was really blowing, as you saw in the palm trees on the back as he was making his way out of Puerto del Carmen. As our leaders now are making their way up the first of the major climbs. This is the Montañas del Fuego, the Fire Mountains in Mauk and Strangmuller. They're playing cat and mouse at the front. At the moment, Mauk is leading, but Strangmuller has been there as well. They've been pushing the pace along. And you can see that Mauk does look very comfortable on this bike. He is spinning his way, and you can't understand from the picture how tough these climbs are. This is the lead woman, Laurie Lynn Leach. She's up out the saddle, which does give it a bit of perspective. But it is rugged here, isn't it? It really is with the wind. This is the third place woman. This is Elizabeth Christensen of Denmark, better known as a short distance, now training for the Ironman.
Yeah, but last year I did my first Ironman and it was quite good. It was quite fast, so I decided to do another one. And yeah, so now I'm doing this one. Now I know that it's quite hot here and it can be very windy. So yeah, I think it's going to be a tough race.
She certainly got that right. It is one of the toughest days on record. The sun is out, it's hot, even in this early part of the day. But the problem is the wind. It's a headwind from just about the start at Puerto del Carmen all the way up to Mirador del Rio, which is at the far end of the island. In second place for the women, it's Lena Wahlqvist, and she's started to get into gear. She's normally a fairly slow starter, but she's certainly now cruising along very nicely. And I think she's going to be seeing the leader, Laurie Lynn Leach, not that far down the road. A little further back the road, this is the masses of age groupers climbing up Montaña del Fuego. Well, with such a large field over these narrow roads, drafting that's taking pace off each other is a problem back with the age groupers. And you can see here, a few of them might be taking a few unfair advantages. Well, the bike is passing now Club La Santa, which hosts this race, and this is the chase pair of Stefan Liebertrau. He's on the back, that's number 10, and right in front of him is Kirill Litvashenko of Estonia. First time I've seen this guy, but he does have a bit of pedigree over this Ironman distance. Third in Ironman Florida last year, the 32-year-old Estonian who tells us he's still in the army. Going through the feed station, and feeding certainly is high on the agenda today. Keep the fluids up, get the food down, keep that carbohydrate level up, because it's going to get harder, not easier. Frank Heldorn won this race twice before, is also going well. He's certainly in the top 10, looking for a top 5 finish. He's not far off the pace. Well, after the Fire Mountains, it's another climb out of Club La Santa. This is a shorter one, but it doesn't get any easier. Laurie Lynn Leach, the lead woman from Canada. Looking strong, looking good, looking smooth. Well, the men are coming up to just about halfway through the bike course, and I think we're going to have another change. This is Kirill Livoshenko of Estonia. He's caught Christoph Mauk, who's leading. He's passed Jan Strangmuller, who's just back of the picture. So Livoshenko of Estonia leading for the first time here in Lanzarote. Finished 15th in the Ironman Austria last year and 6th here in Lanzarote. Certainly going better, as is Frank Heldorn. He's 5th in his last Ironman.
My last Ironman race, and I picked a nice one, right?
Yeah. Well, it might be his last one, but he does have a wealth of experience here in Lanzarote.
Well, after my second place in '93, I came back to win in '94, and that was, of course, ecstatic because that was my first Ironman victory. And then in '95, I lost to Thomas Hellriegel, which was later, I found out, not a real big shame because he went on to win Hawaii. In '96, I came to do it again, finished first. And then in '97, I was beaten again by a later Hawaii winner, Peter Reed. So, yeah, I have had some good years here. And when I didn't win, it wasn't a big shame.
Back